All right, everybody, welcome back to Versus Live. My name is Corey Baumeister.
I'm Ross Merriam.
All right, and we got Dan, the man with the plan in the booth. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Do you also have
I gave you the one.
Yeah, Dan likes me more.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Do you also have a van?
I do.
Down by the
Yeah.
river.
I suspected you have a van because you coach your son's soccer team.
Oh,
That seems to or you did.
That was only that 1 year.
You did 1 year of that? You couldn't take it. Couldn't take it?
That's where you get a company
the
van.
existed before the soccer.
Yeah. But if you didn't have one before that, you would certainly need one.
Wait, are you saying your van existed before the game soccer? Because I don't think that's true.
No, that's not what I said.
I'm sorry. Let's get the
Before my
fact
son
checkers
started
out
playing
there,
soccer.
Twitch chat. One fact we do not need to get is the fact that we are sponsored by Star City Games and Carnox Chairs. And another fact is you will get 10% off if you go to carnox.com/SCG. You will get yourself 10% off on one of these beautiful chairs.
It's a lot of facts.
So many facts. So many facts. Another fact is I'm playing a deck that had a lot of success in Standard over the last season. Popularized by Martin Juza, kind of brought this deck to light. It was just Gruul beatdowns with Embercleaves, Questing Beast, just kind of, the stock beat you down deck. Now we're adding a little bit of new toys. We got what? We got the first Ironian Games we're bringing back from the first match we played. I think that card looked great, and pairing it with Embercleave seems like really exciting to me.
You're also pairing it with other 4-power creatures. So you're not depending on the second chapter generating the big creature to make the third chapter generate value.
Exactly. Like the card was already good, and I didn't get the third chapter of divinating,
Yeah, which is the best one.
Exactly, exactly. And the gold counter could come up when you really need to get an Embercleave down. We don't have a lot of mana sinks in this, so it's not super great. But all right, and our other, we got the green god, Clothius.
Clothis.
God of
Destiny.
God of Destiny. Why is every card so long in this?
So it's God of Destiny.
Yeah.
Because Clotho was one of the 3 fates in Greek mythology.
Who
Weaved the thread because everybody had a life thread.
Oh, I remember that from Hercules. Yes, of
exactly.
course,
Those 3. Yes, the animated Hercules.
Hercules is what taught me my Greek mythology.
Yes. So it's Clothis instead of Clotho. Clotho was the one who weaved the threads. And there was Atropos, who was responsible for your muscles atrophying. And then Lachesis, who I think is the one who cut the thread.
So this set is just perfect for you. It's just a perfect excuse for you to get all this knowledge on.
Oh, yes. To just flex on people.
Absolutely.
It's great. I loved the original Theros for the same reason.
Yeah.
I kept telling people I was really mad at the name of 100-handed one, because there are 100-handed, 100-eyed monsters in the very beginning of Greek mythology, but they're called Hecatoncheires.
Hecatoncheires.
There were 3 of them. I can't remember their individual names, but they got locked in Tartarus by Uranus.
Can you remember their individual hands? There's 1,000 of them.
They were unlocked from Tartarus by the Olympians during the Olympians' war versus the Titans.
Well, if you want to know more about that, please private message Ross Merriam on Twitter. He loves hearing from all of you about any kind of Greek mythology. So
sure, I'm in.
All right, what are you playing, my man?
I'm playing another updated deck from the previous season. This is Izzet Flash. By my knowledge, Gabriel Nassif was one of the primary innovators of this deck.
And Austin Bursavich was kind of the pioneers,
Yeah, so we also updated with a few new cards. I've cut back on some of the Gadwicks because there's some other high-end ways of generating card advantage.
Sure.
I know Gadwick is a very important card in the deck, but I want to try Wavebreak Hippocamp. It's tunable 2/2. If I play a spell on your turn for the first time, I draw a card. So it's a nice, cheap way to do that and generate the advantage.
This card's either going to be busted or heinous. I just haven't decided
It's a very, vulnerable body and only a 2/2 for 3 mana, and that can be problematic. So we got to see. A little skeptical of it, but definitely worth trying.
You know, one card that really makes me scared for that Hippo's life? Just Bone Crusher Giant. It's in every single red deck, every red-black deck, every Gruul deck. The thing that I think it's going to shine against is these like blue-green decks. You stick that, you just jam on turn 3, and then you're like, okay, kill it or you're dead.
No, I can definitely see that being an issue. So maybe that makes it more of a sideboard card. I'm also playing 1 copy of Thrix. This is the 3 blue 4/5 flash flyer. Spells I cast that cost like 5 or more cost 1 less. So actually it does help your Gadwicks.
Yeah.
You get an extra point for free on your Gadwicks.
Nice.
I think they also can't be countered.
Nice.
So I think that could be important.
Gadwin for 1. That doesn't help too much.
Yes. I think that could be important in mirrors, where resolving your Gadwicks is going to be important. It's also just a big flyer. So I kind of like that card. And I like Ashiok's Erasure. I'm playing 1 of. This is the 2 blue enchantment with flash. When it
Okay.
enters the battlefield, you exile a spell, and then they can't play other spells with the same name. So
Okay.
they're kind of an expensive cancel. They were playing like some, expensive counterspell in its place. I think this one could be quite good. Once you counter that like first Nissa with it, and you don't have to worry about them tapping out for another one, gives you a lot more freedom to play aggressively.
Yeah.
It's not something you want a lot of because it's pretty expensive, but that first copy I think has quite a lot of value.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's a card that. Can you believe Veil of Summer is supposed to be in the set where that card exists? Are you kidding me?
Veil of Summer's supposed to counter everything.
Yeah, unreal. Okay, well, let's keep those questions coming in. I forgot to tell you, take at Star City Games if you didn't know. If you want those questions coming in, Dan, let's take one while we get our first game ready here.
So before we get to that question, I looked it up on the internet, Ross. The name of the Hecatoncheires, or the
Oh my God.
Centimanes, as they were called.
Yeah, one starts with a B.
Briareus.
Yeah,
We got Briareus, Gygus,
Gygus. Okay.
and Cottus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
The
were
more
three.
you know. Anyway, as far as questions are concerned, a lot of people have been asking, help me. A lot of people are asking, last match in this match, what do you guys, we're going to go outside the box here. What do you guys think about the Golgari Yawgmoth deck that was showed up a little bit during
Modern?
SCG Columbus in Modern, yeah.
So I know you were kind of talking about this deck a decent amount. Even one of our teammates, Eli Cassis, was kind of trying to mess around with it, was thinking that it wasn't really just a meme and that it had some lags. And then I cast turn 2 Urza one game, and then with my extra artifacts played a second Urza, and I'm like, why would you not play this deck? So while I think it's okay, I think there's just so many more powerful options in Modern right now.
There's not that many more powerful options. There's at least one.
Yeah.
So that's the issue with Modern right now. I do think that deck is underrated. I think once we solve this Opal Urza problem, and there are some bans issued in that format, which are sorely needed.
Yeah.
The Yawgmoth deck is certainly worth exploring and might be worth exploring now so that you're a little ahead of the pack.
Sure.
I think Yawgmoth is a really powerful card.
Yeah.
I do think you want to be playing it in matchups that are more creature-oriented, which doesn't happen a lot in an Oko metagame. But once that problem is dealt with, if we go back to a more creature-centric metagame, you have this deck that can play control against creature decks, can play this disruptive aggro plan against control decks with a bunch of creatures that have Undying and come back, and can play the combo plan against mid-range decks. And that looks good to me. If you can blend all of those plans together, you've got a good plan in every single matchup. Whether you can execute any given plan consistently is another thing, but with proper tuning, you should be able to get close enough.
Yeah. So, I mean, as of right now, I think it's probably incorrect to do, but yeah, like you said, once we get a couple of these big cards out of the way.
One of the decks that I'm keeping an eye on.
You're cooking back there?
Yeah.
Keeping it one of your 1,000 eyes on?
Yeah, I got the juices flowing.
Okay, so I'm going to be going first. Let's see what we got here. Well, our hand is a little awkward with our mana base.
My hand is a lot of awkward with my mana base.
Yeah. I think I'm going to keep mine.
I will also keep still, but...
Yeah. All right, we're going to start with the Temple, something that Gruul also didn't have here. And we'll keep that
nice
on top.
A little extra mana mix.
Not
Okay,
bad.
all of my issues are gone. My mana is perfect.
With one Fabled Passage?
No, I have the Fabled Passage.
Okay.
I have this. So I'm like, well, I need the mountain, and then this enters tapped, and that's awkward.
Sure.
But that's Dream Island. Now everything's fine.
So now I can try to play a mediocre 2-drop right now, or I can just make sure I have a nice play for next turn. So we're going to do that. We're going to scry again. We're going to keep that there and pass it to you. Take her nice and slow and steady.
I hear that wins the race, but I'm skeptical.
I'm skeptical. Against a counterspell deck, I'm skeptical as well.
Now we're getting into Egyptian mythology.
Oh. All right.
Yes, Egyptian
You
fables.
are up.
I will just play that island and hold up my spells. Classic Flash plan.
Classic. All right. Well,
You do things and I do things. My things are better than your things.
probably. We're going to take 2. We're going to play this first. Probably anything we play is getting countered. But I think we'd rather have our enabler here get countered, if anything.
No, that's fine.
Okay, we'll tick this up for red and pass to you.
Okay, on your end step, I will petty theft.
Okay.
I'm going to need our little
Headed on an adventure.
marker. And I have Castle Vantress and a pass of the turn.
All right.
threatening this Brazen Borrower, so Corey has to consider that when he makes his plays.
Love it.
In
Love
addition
it.
to, everything else I could play.
So let's go with a... we're going to go with a Domri again.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to add red mana, green, and we're going to play one of the new cards here. Gallia of the Endless Dance.
Sure.
Okay. And give you the beatdowns.
I will take that 2, go to 18.
17. Pumped.
That was pumped from that.
Yep.
17.
Fast you.
Okay. Definitely want to get this Borrower down to pressure the Domri. So
Okay.
I'm fine taking 1 hit.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. Let's play our Blast Zone.
Okay.
Attack the Domri.
Boink.
And pass the turn.
Okay. All right, we're going to go like this. We're going to add a green mana and go with Questing Beast.
Yep.
Okay, and attack.
Okay. I have another trivia question for you.
Yeah,
Remember the season 5 episode of The Simpsons where Bart gets an elephant?
I do not.
It's called Bart Gets an Elephant.
Okay, that's very creative.
Yeah. What was the
Yeah.
elephant's name?
I know.
Pick
hold on.
down.
What if I were to show you this Bone Crusher Giant? What do you think the elephant's name is?
I don't know.
Okay, I was trying to get you to say Stompy, and then I would
Oh.
correct you and tell you it was actually named Stampy.
Wow.
But you ruined it.
Ruined it. Straight up
Okay,
ruined
well, I'll
it.
stomp that and probably get blown up by a pump spell that I don't know exists.
Nope, that's going to be endlessly
Okay.
danced.
And then I'll petty theft the questing beast.
Petty theft that. Okay, well, I am going to stomp yours, whatever reference you want to use for that as well. And then I will pass to you. You bounce this, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And this is getting a little awkward. You have 3 in hand.
3 in hand.
One of which is the questing beast I know of.
Yep.
I think I will just pass the turn.
Okay. On tap. Let's see. I'm gonna try to give you the beatdowns here. We're gonna start with tick up for mana. Go with a questing beast.
Yep.
Okay. Got this. Now the real question is, what do we want to do? I want to try to stop you from pressuring Domri if possible, so I kind of want to put my best foot forward. All right, so we're going to go with Spellbreaker.
Sure.
We're going to go with Haste and give you the beatdowns.
So that is a 9-point attack.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm at 8.
All right, pass to you.
On your end step, I will play Borrower.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That was not what we needed. We'll finally deal with that.
Okay.
And
Domri was pretty good so far.
you have 1 card in hand.
2 on an adventure. Yep, 1 card.
Why don't we just play this Bone Crusher Giant with the idea to trade with the Questing Beast?
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. All right, we got a land drop, and we'll get in there.
Block.
I
I assume we're getting Embercleaved.
Yeah, we'll Embercleave.
Okay, let's negate that.
All right, that's probably a good call.
So these trade, I go to 5.
Yep, and then we'll play Bone Crusher.
Sounds good.
All right, your turn. We're out of gas, but
Well, this can't block non-flyers, so I'll attack.
15.
And I guess that's so I can make a risky line with this. This was kind of an awkward draw against the cards that Corey has on the battlefield. So I think I want to take the risky line because it at least still just trades with one of them, which is all I'm trying to do. So I'm going to play a Gadwick for 2 and draw 2 cards.
Okay.
Now I'm going to be very sad and pass the turn.
All right, let's get a good Embercleave here.
One good draw and this game will end. Just kill me. I know I'm dead. You're just slow rolling me. Show me the card.
Mostly reading, but yeah, you gotta be dead. All right, it's our new god. So exile target card from your graveyard if it's a land, add mana. Otherwise, you gain 2 life and deals 2 damage. So I guess I'll exile this, take 2, and kill you.
I kept just getting stuck on red mana and I couldn't double spell ever.
Oh, yeah,
so I was just hoping if I just draw a land, I think I'm all set.
I was kind of slow rolling you, but I had to double check exactly how I killed you. So yeah, I guess I gained 2, you take 2.
Well, yeah,
well, that's at the beginning of the pre-combat main phase, Corey.
Oh,
so you're past that.
Oh, so that won't be till next turn, huh?
Well, no, you just play it main phase. Oh, beginning of the so it doesn't actually work immediately.
Oh,
no, it doesn't.
It's not the beginning of combat step. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, you still want to do it.
Yeah. And we'll still get in there.
So I'll block Bone Crusher and I will go to 2.
Okay. Well, this card's not as good as I thought, and then I'll pass it to you. And Devotion to 7 is quite hard, but it does count green and black.
So you need a red source again. I had.
What could you have to bounce or? Oh.
If I have a red source, I'm all set.
Yeah.
What can I do now? Oh, I guess okay.
You're probably still okay, right?
No, I can live. So I will. No, okay, this is better. I will.
I was like, those are a lot of good cards. I feel like you're still all right.
No, this plays. I have enough cards. This plays around another haste creature better. I'm gonna Gadwick for 1.
Okay.
I will then attack you for. I guess it doesn't actually play around a haste creature, but it's still just a more expensive card.
Okay.
And maybe helps me at my land drop. So I still like that. Brings you to 12. Does make me lose to an Embercleave, and then I will pass the turn. And on your upkeep, I will bounce this.
Okay.
So that's not going to trigger, and I have a blocker.
Okay.
1 brick, please. I guess. That still gets awkward because you just recast this. So I need to find another I need to keep finding Brazen Borrowers. Is that how this works?
Play this. Level 1. Get a Shaheen. And I think I'd rather trade for your Gadwick. Pass to you.
Yeah. And now I need to draw. I need to just keep drawing.
Brazen Borrowers?
Yep.
You're getting a little close to like Red Blue Flash always has that thing where it's like you're always really close until you're like, oh wait, they're dead.
Yeah, and that is not it. So I was just short on red mana that game. I think
this is a nice little way to push through, though. I kind of like that. It is pretty tough to get Devotion in something that's not dedicated to mono green or mono red or whatever. But when you're just trying to play good green-red cards, maybe a little tough to turn that card on against a deck that's just going spot removal. But the ability of it just dealing 2, gaining 2 in this matchup seems awesome.
Yeah, just need some more Boggart Ram gangs.
Yeah, I like it. All right, well, we'll get ready. We'll play another game 1 since our sideboards are still, in training, we'll say. Dan, you got a couple questions for us here?
Yeah. So SF Disco asks, Ross, what are your thoughts about Thassa's intervention for the Izzet Flash list?
Definitely a card you can try out. Not a card you want to draw on high numbers because it's a modal card that's inefficient, but you like its versatility.
Okay.
It is kind of nice if you play more Thrixes, because then when you can start casting it for X equals 3 at 4 mana.
That's the blue intervention?
Yes, the blue intervention. So it's X blue. Look at the top X cards of your deck and choose up to 2 of them and put them in your hand, rest on the bottom in a random order. Or counter target spell unless its controller
plays twice.
Pays 2x.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like 3 mana. It's a 3 mana quench. Unfortunately,
at 3 mana, it's not very good because it's either quench or draw 1 card.
Yeah.
At 4 mana, it's inspiration or counter unless they pay 4.
Yeah.
Which is still not good on the counter spell, but the versatility there, I think, it would make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
So it's really a 4 mana spell, and then at 5 mana, it's basically a good draw spell or a counter spell.
Sure.
So at 5+, it's very good.
Gotcha.
So it's another one of those cards that's expensive. You don't want to flood on them early, but as a good late game card to have, would probably work as one of. I went with the Ashiok's Erasure instead.
I like that better. That seems like it's going to have a lot more applications in Standard. just for exactly what you said, hitting a Nissa and then not having to worry about that anymore. Or hitting an Embercleave, I mean, that seems awesome.
Yeah, just the tactical freedom that card opens up for you in a deck like this is really nice because you want to be pressuring your opponent, but often you have to always be wary of what they can do because your cards are a little underpowered when you're playing a flash deck. You need to counter the right ones, and so the opening up your own tactical flexibility is really important in decks like this.
True.
It just makes the game so easy on you.
Yeah.
And some people call things
like that. That's why I love Gadwick, because it really makes you flexible because you just get to play it even on 3 as a 3-mana 3/3 and then just tap stuff down. I mean, then late game it draws your whole deck back. Like the flexibility of that card is why I love blue-red flash and kind of always have, but
the other two are still on the sideboard. Don't worry, they haven't gone away.
I wasn't fearing you.
Yeah.
Let's take one more question there, Dan, before we get this going.
Yeah, sure, Corey. This one's for you.
All right.
From Gabbard77, would Ox of Agonas not be good in this deck?
I don't think so. I mean, 5 mana is really expensive. We have no way to really get it into the graveyard. For 5 mana, I mean, for 4 mana, I want to be playing Questing Beast. On turn 5, I want to be strapping Embercleave. I don't think Ox is just a good card on its own. I think that is a build around, personally, like our Izzet Phoenix deck that we saw yesterday, like Modern Dredge. But no, I don't think that would be too good in this deck.
The issue here, I think that card on its own, if the exile part of the escape cost was a little bit lower, it would make a lot of sense on its own because it's just a creature that generates so much value.
100%. But 8 is an outrageous amount.
It's a lot. Like we see decks that are actively trying to enable treasure cruise in Pioneer and struggle to do so.
Yep.
And that is 6 or 7 essentially. The now you're talking 8 in standard where you don't have as many enablers. It's really hard to do that. So I think you need to work for that card. In a deck that's playing Timurit Calls the Dead and doing some other cool stuff. But in this one, like you want high impact, and the front side is not bad in that regard, but it is a small body, and this is a deck that really wants to impact the battlefield. So you would really want something more like Skargan Hellkite in that slot. In this
exactly.
deck.
Dying to Bone Crusher Giant when you play your creature and stuff is really bad right now. Like one card, like you said, for a better rate to escape, and a card that you can think is really good, Woe Strider. I think that's the perfect card where you don't have to build around it for their escape. It's just already a good card, and then all of a sudden that escape is actually pretty easy to do once you get to turn 5 or 6. Things just die. So
and that's only 4 cards, right?
4 cards, 4 cards cost 5 mana. I still think that's my favorite card of the set so far.
Yeah, that's just a good value card. The Ox is very much a build around.
Exactly. But good questions. Keep them coming in. We're going to start game 2 here. You are going to be on the play.
Okay, another awkward hand with my mana, but for a very different reason. But I have enough stuff to do early and a Scryland that I feel comfortable keeping this hand.
I don't think a 5-lander on the draw is ever keepable, especially because Embercleave isn't at its best in this matchup. Just instant speed, counter spells, as well as instant speed removing the stuff. It's not great. I'd probably leave in like 1 or 2 post board, but we'll see.
Definitely not a great card for this matchup.
Agreed. But it's a great time for another question, Dan.
Yeah. So we got Censorius wondering about Kroxa, Titan of Deaths. That's the Rakdos Titan. So not blue.
Hold on.
Black and red.
I got this one. I got this one.
Okay, go for it.
Black and red.
Uh-huh.
Legendary creature.
Yeah.
Elder Giant.
Cool.
It's a 6/6.
Uh-huh.
When it enters the battlefield, if you didn't escape it, sacrifice it.
Immediately,
Okay? When it enters the battlefield, your attacks. Either target opponent or each opponent. Probably each opponent discards a card.
Uh-huh.
Each player who did not discard a land this way, I'm not exactly sure it's templated, but
loses 3 life.
Loses 3 life.
Yep.
Each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses
Didn't discard
3 life.
non-land. Because you have to discard the non-land.
And then Unearths for the red, black.
And 5 cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done.
6 nailed it. Not bad. What was the question though?
What are you guys' thoughts on the card?
Oh, okay. I don't think it's very good. I think in the spot, I think it's a decent card just with the text of it, but I'm just trying to look like what would it fall into. Euro, blue-green decks have always been really popular. It seems really good with Cavalier Thorns, really good with Tamiyo, whatever, like we've been seeing. Just good on its front half. This one, just discarding a card when it comes into play for 3 mana is already such low payoff for what you're doing for 3. Euro is already a pretty bad payoff for 3 mana, to be honest. Like,
Gain 3 life and a ramp spell that gains 3 life.
yeah.
Gift of Paradise is just a standard staple.
Yeah, but let's say you play that on turn 3 and you're on the draw against Red-Black Knights. Your opponent is attacking back with an 8/7 double striking dino on that turn, you know? It's like, I don't know, that's just a picture I see in my head. So I don't think it's good enough because the decks it's going into is not good enough. Because, like, look at the best red-black deck. Is like the red-black aristocrat deck, kind of like we played yesterday, which impressed us. But look at that at the 3-drop. You already have Mayhem Devil, Woe Strider.
This is a 2 and a 4, but it's a 2-drop that doesn't affect the battlefield.
It is a 2 and a 4, I guess, yeah. But
I am with you here. Because the front side is not particularly good, I'm just not interested in casting that card. Because that's the case, I don't want to be including this in my deck as a value card. Mm-hmm. And the other role it can play is as a card I can get out of my graveyard in a deck that's abusing the graveyard really well. And if I'm doing that, I want something that's a little cheaper. I want something like Ox of Agonas. Yeah. So if Ox of Agonas didn't exist, then I'd be interested maybe in this card in Modern Dredge. But even then, like, something like Haunted Dead might be better. Other creatures that you access from your graveyard, because 4 mana is still quite a bit. But it's as a bigger creature, it would be interesting at least in that role.
Yeah.
And it would also like sort of contribute to that burn plan, right? Like they obviously people would generally prefer to discard an extra land and take the 3. But if you have a bunch of Creeping Chills and Conflagrates, maybe they can't do that.
Yeah.
So I'd be somewhat interested in a specific role like that, but there's another card that's just better in that role.
I agree. I totally agree. Okay, so I'm on the mulligan here. We're going to keep this. On the draw, I think as crazy as it seems, we're going to put this on the bottom. It's not that great in this matchup anyways, so the cleave to the bottom.
Okay, I will start.
We already got another one ready for you, so.
Temple of Epiphany.
Sure.
And how do I like this card? I actually don't think a bunch of copies of this card is good, and I'd rather get to my more powerful cards, so I'm going to bottom it.
Okay. All right, Fabled Passage, pass to you.
Is land. You're up.
Okay. Gonna sack this now. Get ourselves our mountain. Untap.
The only mountain in the deck.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that was a heinous draw, but we're gonna go with our 2 mana Hasty Bear.
18.
Pass to you.
And step, I'll play a Brineborn Cutthroat.
Okay.
Let's play a castle and attack for 2.
All right, the beats. 18.
You're up.
All right. We're drawing heinously.
Yeah, I'll go to 16.
Okay. Drawing heinously, and we'll pass to you.
End step. Let's stomp that. Get a counter here.
Response, we'll stomp that.
Yep.
We're on adventures. Oh, this is dead.
Play this tapped and cast my Bone Crusher.
Okay.
Pass the turn. There's not a lot Corey can do here that's super scary. A Questing Beast just trades for the Giant.
Yeah.
Giants trade, so...
You know, I think I'm just going to get this down while I can. It's not going to do much right now, but we'll pass to you.
Yeah, it is a scary card, though.
Kind of, yeah.
Let's get my Blast Zone down.
Okay.
Attack for 4.
I'll take it.
You're at 14.
14.
You're up.
All right, I'm going to exile this to start.
It's beginning your pre-combat mains.
Pre-combat mains. So draw first.
So I'm going to take 2?
Yep, you're going to take 2 and I'm going to gain 2. So I go to 16, you go to 14.
It's from a graveyard?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Cheese and rice indeed. Yeah, it could be the real deal.
That card seems great.
Okay, let's go with a... Let's see here. I think we're just going to go with Bone Crusher Giant here.
Yep.
And we're going to go with the Temple. Put a Stomping Ground on the bottom and pass to you.
Okay, I will scry 2.
Okay.
Need to find some gas here, and those are 2 islands. So
That's the opposite.
The bottom. The tank is on empty.
Okay. Well, if we ever attack with this card, I'll be shocked. I will be absolutely shocked.
Okay, let's kill that thing.
Exiled, right?
Yep.
Take
but
2?
I'm going to take 2 to 12. I'll
Yep.
attack you to 12.
All right.
And I will pass the turn.
All right, we're going to untap, draw. Now we're going to exile your Storm Breath. I go to 14, you go to 10.
Yep.
Yeah, this card feels good.
Yeah, it doesn't need to attack.
Yeah.
Strains me for 2 every turn.
All right, we're going to go with a QB,
Yep.
and we'll get on in there.
6.
Whoa. All right, Goblin,
Yep.
and we'll just put a counter on this and pass to you.
Pretty close to 7 devotion.
Yeah. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I guess I should have looked a little closer there. You not having anything there is quite nice.
Well, my hand last turn was 3 lands, and now I drew a counter spell that doesn't do anything.
Ouch, you're just dead. Huh?
No. I kept a 5-lander on the play with these 2 cards. And
Yeah.
like,
I guess you're not dead.
yeah, but like, there's no way I race this thing.
Yeah, you got to keep bouncing
yeah,
it.
it's never going to happen.
Okay, you're dead. Never mind.
Sure.
I guess you had the ionized,
I can
but
counter that.
yeah.
But I kept
All
5
right.
lands, these 2 cards, but I had a Temple and Castle and Blast Zone.
Yeah.
And I had early action. So, yeah, I'll draw some spells.
Yeah.
Scryed one of these to the bottom, wanted to get to like a Gadwick or a 5-mana spell. Through
Right,
lands.
Bone Crush to the bottom, huh? That card is just so good. I don't know.
Your creatures get really big.
That's
Like,
true. I scryed an Evercleave to the bottom, and I drew all lands, and I had way too many lands. So
Yeah.
we also may have screwed up our scries, but
Hindsight is 2020.
Agreed.
We are done with 2 games. We're
Yeah.
tied in this match, and that means we're going to take a short break. We're going to get some sideboarding
We're not
done.
tied.
We're tied. We're human. Oh yeah, you won both.
Yeah. Nice
so-
try, Ross
I
Merriam.
was supposed to draw another mountain.
You should have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
well,
hindsight, right?
We'll play
there.
3 sideboard games, and I'll win all of them, and I'll be fine. But we are going to take a break. We're going to do some sideboarding, and then we'll finish this second match between Izzet Flash and Gruul Aggro. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Izzet Flash and Gruul Aggro. On my side, we are bringing out our negates against the creature deck. Makes sense.
Genius.
Bringing out our Rouse Outburst. Now, bringing out a removal spell against a creature deck may not make a ton of sense on the surface, but the problem with this card is it's a removal spell that doesn't kill anything that costs anywhere near it.
Yeah.
There's not. I don't think there's a 4-drop in your deck that this kills, because it's all Questing Beasts and Shifting Ceratops and
Yeah. No, yeah, you're really trading down in mana. You're making up for it by getting a card, and not only drawing a card, selecting a card. So it has its time and place, you know, like up against my green-white Enchantress deck for round 1, it'd be great.
Yes.
Kills everything, you know, but
in this matchup, the tempo loss for the added card is not a trade I'm interested in making. The tempo is really important. I have enough card advantage going along anyway. As you see, I'm bringing in some extra Gadwicks.
Yep.
You know, in this matchup, I'm forced to take a very hard control stance because you're a good aggro deck and try to trade early. And that means, you know, I'll trade with my, you know, best removal spells I can. So I've got these lava coils. And once I've traded, then I want something big to pull ahead. Gadwick is that kind of card.
Yep.
The small advantages that you're generating are not something I'm interested in if it comes with a tempo loss. So we're just situating ourselves to be better able to play that control role.
Love it. And I recognize the role shift here as well. I wouldn't even say role shift because I was the beatdown deck for game 1.
Yeah.
But any deck that's trying to play the control route against me, we dino them. We dino them with pro can't be countered, pro blue.
Yep.
Just a pretty much stock card in the Gruul sideboards. Absolutely phenomenal against blue-green flash is the main thing. Blue-red, you do have answers. Lava Coil, this card doesn't just lock it up like it does against blue-green.
You can trade for it with a giant.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not insane, but it's still a very good card that you get to play a game in such a way where, like, if I know you're holding up a counter, I get to play Shifting Ceratop first, even though Questing Beast might be a better card on turn 4, because on turn 5 I can give this haste, you know? So almost always it'd be better to play something else. But this starts to put you in a position where you have to start a blink first, where you have to act to kill my threat, and then I'm able to play the rest of my threats, and then your counter spells get stuck in your hand with nothing to do. And that's all I try to do against these type of decks.
Yeah. Anytime you can waste a flash deck's mana by playing a card like this, and if I hold up Ionize and you're on the play, and then you cast this, suddenly I'm behind. I have to start tapping out for threats, and then you get to resolve your other stuff, and the game ends with me having 3 counter spells in my hand.
Exactly. That happens a lot. We both probably bet on both sides of that, you know? And then taking cards out, Domri is actually a card that should be really good because creatures can't be countered. Pumps the team, not bad. But with Brazen Borrower and all the direct damage you have, it's pretty vulnerable. So we saw it before. I got a little bit of use out of it by like AKA use of like an extra couple points of damage. It wasn't even great. So I don't really like that. And then Ember Cleave as well against a lot of counter spells. I'm leaving in a couple, but definitely don't want to max out on the full amount here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You want maybe one of that card in a game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see one on turn 6 every game in this matchup. You know, I mean, in other matchups, other creature-based matchups, that's the card. Like you board up to 4, you have 4 no matter what. But this is not one of those matchups.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, you got any questions for us, Dan, while we shuffle up for our third game?
Yeah. So we got a question from Vega. Now, since we have access to all 10 versions of temples, if we were to be running 3-color decks, how many temples should we be running in this?
That's a good question. That is really good question. It's going to base depending on your deck. If your deck wants to curve out, less. You know, like maybe 4 of your very important ones, maybe 6. A good example of that would be like the Simic Flash deck that Brad Nelson, Seth Manfield, and Javier Dominguez crushed the last Mythic Championship with. That deck needed to curve. So a deck like that, didn't want to play any temples. I think they did end up playing like 2, maybe 3 or something. I'm not 100% positive, but that is a list you wouldn't want to overload on because you need to be curving out. But if you're talking about, like, for instance, the deck I'm going to be playing the third round, a little bit of a Sultai action that is trying to control the game a little bit more, you want to play more. You want your mana base to be perfect. You don't really care if you're a little behind because you have a lot of removal to deal with it. So, based on the question, we can't answer it because it is based on the deck, and you just have to ask yourself, do I want to curve out with this deck? If the answer is yes, try to play as few as possible. If your answer is no, I don't really care to curve out that much, then you can play more. I would say no more than like 8, maybe 9 if you could play all 12, but
I mean, Esper Control back in the original Theros era would play 12.
Yeah,
but
that's possible. But they have Wrath of God.
That's the point I'm trying to make. But they had Supreme Verdict, which is like the ultimate Wrath of God.
It's the ultimate temple helper.
Yeah, so you can fall behind as long as you're going to consistently find your sweeper on turn 4.
And catch on up.
Sweep the board. If you don't have something like that, the other way to stop yourself from falling behind, as Corey said, is removal, in particular cheap removal. Mm-hmm. So on turn 3, if you can play a temple and then play a 2-mana removal spell for their creature, that's perfectly fine. You're trading your turn for their turn. You're getting a little value out of the scry. You're fixing your mana, and you're getting to the long game. So you really need to be conscious of your curve when you're playing temples. So think about, like, what turns do I want to be playing them on? Obviously, everybody wants to play one on turn 1.
Yeah.
But then if all of my removal is 2 mana, that's perfect for overloading on temples, because then you have your 1 on tap land on turn 2, then another ETB tap land on turn 3.
Yeah, 1 and 3 is what I was going to say.
Yeah, and you can be fine with 2. And then maybe you can crunch the numbers, like how many do I want to play to consistently draw 2 of these, and go from there. So there is a lot of play to it. It really depends on the cards available in your deck. We do have another 4-mana sweeper in the format now that was previewed, half an hour ago?
Yeah,
an hour ago?
The sky.
So if you're playing that card, that's a card that helps out your temples.
God, what was it? If you have
everybody who has a 4 power or more creature draws a card,
and then just Wrath, huh?
Yeah, and then
they
Dave
can be regenerated though. Like
they can be regenerated.
WotC doesn't deal with regeneration nonsense anymore.
We're done with that.
Yeah, there's no bury versus destroy.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, but great question. That is a very good thing that people need to think about. Instead, there's no just correct answer in my opinion. So I love that.
It's very contextual, but there are certain principles to keep in mind, like we've elaborated on.
Love it.
I'm on the play. I have a reasonable hand here. It's a little man heavy, but we have things to do with that mana, so I'm happy with it.
I'm going to keep as well. I think my hand's quite good.
Okay, Steam Event stepped.
All right.
Unfortunately, not a temple.
Yeah. We're going to start with the Pelt Collector. Pass to you.
Pelt Collector. Collecting some pelts. I'm just going to deal with that right now.
Smart.
Stompy.
Smart. Okay. So now, what do we want to do here?
No land pass.
Well, yeah, Bone Crusher is quite the good magic card, that's for sure. Let's just go with a take 2, and we'll play a Goblin. Really hoping to curve that into Pelt Collector, but what can you do? We'll go to 18.
Yep. Okay, I'll cast the Bone Crusher.
Alrighty.
Pass the turn.
Well, that was an interesting draw. I think we'd rather play this. Now the real question is, do we want to attack and offer this trade? A trade I'm pretty sure you would want to take. And I guess the answer is no. So we're going to go with the games. Get a Shaheen. Maybe Shaheen can finally win a game here. Then I'll pass to you.
Weird thing is, I wasn't going to take your trade.
You weren't, huh?
Yeah. If I had known you had this, I would have taken it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that is actually really good here.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I will cast a Gadwick for 1.
Okay.
I wanted to like trade this with a Questing Beast and then trade the Gadwick down here.
Sure.
But let's pass.
All right. So we're gonna draw. See what we want to do
a 6/6.
Kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
6/6 feels quite good right now. Yeah, let's go with a 6/6.
It's 4 counters.
Then we're gonna give you the beatdowns.
So interesting. Do I try to just trade down and play this control game, or do I try to beat down and use the Gadwick to control your battlefield? Both plans are pretty bad against shifting Ceratops, and that is a problem. So the real question is, which one do I think is best against the Ceratops? Train Ceratops. Pretty unlikely that I get it off the battlefield before you draw 2 more cards. And now you've generated a card advantage, and I'm behind on the battlefield. That's awkward.
That's not awkward. That's just bad.
If I take the damage, then I don't really have an attack. The Bone Crusher can at least try to trade for the Ceratops, and the Gadwick can contain this. And even though you've drawn some extra cards, I at least have the board under control to some extent.
Yeah, that's tough.
So I think I'm going to take it.
Boom.
I'd also, if you don't have Ceratops and just have a bad turn, I'd rather take it as well.
I don't have Ceratops, but my turn's not that bad. The God of Destiny. All right, then we're going to do some scrying. And I don't want a Paradise Druid this late in the game, so I'll pass to you.
So let's get in for 7.
All right, 11. Here comes the pain.
Really need to try to close this game out before this Clothis gets me, because right now my plan is to control with Gadwick, but that leaves this being able to be animated.
Yep.
But I will pass the turn.
All right, so we're going to draw, then we're going to have a couple of triggers coming off here.
This will happen first because that's in your draw step, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's after you draw and then this comes. Okay, so I'm going to try to draw 2 cards.
Yep.
All right. Okay, and now this will exile, drain.
So I'm at 12, you're at 13?
Yep. All right, that's kind of gas. All right, so we got 5 mana to work with. Let's see what we want to do. Whatever we play definitely has a pretty high likelihood of getting countered here. And we just need 2 mana symbols to turn on our god, which is nice. Let's see. I think we start with Galea.
Sure.
Yeah. Now I should probably play something else here to try to guarantee being able to keep our god as a creature. Pretty unlikely, actually. Okay, I'm going to go to beginning of combat.
Okay. I will cast an Opt and tap the Zertai Goblin.
Okay.
Don't think I want this. I want a better card than that.
Okay.
That one is pretty good.
Okay.
You can attack.
I think I just want to get in here. 6, 7. Shoot a 5. Am I that afraid of the crackback? Not really. Yeah, we're going all in.
Okay, I'll Scorching Dragonfire the Golia.
Okay.
And then I'll take 1.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
I'm at 11.
All right, that's pretty good. Second main, we'll go with a Bone Crusher Giant.
Sure.
Past you. Play a little bit of defense.
2, 4, 5, 6. So I am gonna be petty thefting something and tapping the Bone Crusher,
Okay.
and I'm not gonna be bouncing the Bone Crusher.
Okay.
The question is whether or not I'm going to tap the Clothis, or bounce the Clothis, or bounce the Zerta Goblin.
Okay. You can bounce the games.
That one's also not gonna happen. Could also bounce the Shaheen token if I'm
Kill
okay
it,
with
yeah.
just getting that off the battlefield. All 3 actually make some sense.
Yep.
So you're at 16 right now, or 13?
13. 13 to 11. Yep.
I'm going to attack you to 6. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go up to 8, and then this is only 7, so that's awkward. But I guess I'm going to have a Brazen Borrower.
It's true.
To do some things. So the Brazen Borrower will deal with tapping down the Zerta Goblin, and then...
Yeah, I thought I was in a great spot with my start, but yeah, this is definitely shifting around.
Yeah, let's petty theft the Clothis.
Okay.
So this is over here.
And this is tapped, so yep. Your turn.
Then I will attack for 7.
7, okay.
Brings you to 6.
Yep. Oh, excuse me.
And how do I want to play this? I think I would just want to play this one and get the maximum tapping and hope to end the game this turn.
Okay.
Or on my next turn. So I'm actually going to play... I guess I could draw an extra card this way and lose a point of damage, but that seems fine. I don't... even if one creature dies, I'm fine. I still kill you.
Okay.
You need to kill 2 things, and you have how many cards in hand?
I have 4.
4, one of which is Clothis, which I no longer care about.
Yep.
Guess I have to worry about Ceratops, because Gadwick doesn't cover that, but that's 4 mana.
I'm going to have some gold.
Okay, so you're going to have 6 mana on your turn, maybe 7. I guess I have to be wary of Stomp plus Ceratops. So I think I'll just play it safe and play this for 0.
Okay. They're legendary.
They're legendary. That's not good.
Nothing then?
Yeah, then I just have to pass.
Okay.
Okay, I spent this entire time thinking about this play, and I just have to do it the other way.
All right, so we'll get some gold.
Yeah, of course they're legendary. The card's messed up.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, well, let's go with Questing Beast.
Yep.
And declare attack.
I will definitely want to play a Cutthroat first, and that will tap down the Vigilance creature, and I'm at 6.
Yep. Or you're at 11, right?
You're at 6. I'm at
6.
Okay.
Yep.
So if I play the other one now, you just don't attack with anything because you're dead on board if you do, unless you have I guess you can leave one blocker, but you don't have a Gadwick, so you need to leave both. If you have a Stomp. So I guess, do I just get to... But I'm at 11, and if I let you attack with all of these, then I have to block. Especially if you just Stomp this. Yeah, so I can't let you attack, because then if you have Stomp, you kill me.
Okay.
So I have to play this too. And yeah, we'll obviously tap down the 6/6.
Okay. So you get a counter there. So I got to leave some blockers here. Is 2 blockers enough for me? It's not, huh?
Like stomping one of these and blocking, or stomping this and blocking this. Oh yeah, because this is still a 3.
Yep. All your creatures are pretty lethal, so I have to create another blocker, which I have. I'm gonna go with the Paradise Druid, and then Temple.
But now you're just dead to the Gadwick in my hand. right?
Yeah, I guess I didn't know you had.
Yeah.
I was dead to anything. Yeah. Okay. I was dead to any blue spell.
Yeah, definitely dead to that one.
Definitely dead to the old Brazy B here. Yeah, well, that was nice. I felt like I was kind of dominating, to be honest, but
The Gadwick did exactly what it needed to do and just controlled your battlefield. Let me sort of ignore the 6/6 almost. Just sort of dealt with it, pushed it off to the side, and I'm able to. And then I get to attack even on the ground.
Yeah.
Like normally when you're playing these flash decks, a lot of them they're attacking in the air with those borrowers, but I was attacking with Gadwick and Bone Crusher.
Cutthroat is the blue Tarmogoyf. I'm still saying it to be true that when you get that thing going, you jam that on 2 and then you just protect with ionizers and stuff like that. All of a sudden you look down and you're like, oh, attack for 8. I mean, the card is unreal good in that deck. There was some problems that the deck just couldn't close that well if you don't get these Gadwick draws. And that's why, the boys switched to the blue-green Simic version with Nissa, because it had a late game.
And Night Pack Ambusher.
And Night Pack Ambusher. You had a lot more power. That's what Brad, Seth, and Javier were thinking when they switched to that. I was considering blue-red, just playing around that time of the Mythic Championship. But, they pivoted because they wanted more power. And that is still going to be a problem of that deck. But, yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't draw any of the new cards.
Any of the new cards.
Played 3 games.
But the old deck looked great. But as far as new cards for me, the games was awesome. The God was great. The 2-mana 2/2 was pretty bad. That was pretty terrible.
The Satyr?
Yeah. I mean, it helped for devotion, so I wanted that. And if you were to trigger it, it's awesome. And it's not going to trigger in this match, but it triggered. Do you know what its trigger does?
You discard a card at random and draw 2.
Yeah. So if you have no hand and that's your last card, let's say you jam, you have that trigger on the stack, play your last Embercleave from hand and draw 2 cards. And in combat, you can draw 2 cards and find an Embercleave.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool, but it wasn't good here.
Oh, there are definitely matchups where it will be good. Yeah. Once again, it's a 2-toughness creature in a stomp matchup, but also a matchup
in a stomp world. Let's get real. Yeah.
There's also a matchup where I have a lot of 1-for-1 removal, so it's going to be hard for you to get 3 creatures onto the battlefield and
4.
attack.
It's 3 other.
It's 3 others?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just a battalion thing.
I know. Yeah, it's 3 others, so it's a very hard thing to do, and we're not exactly a token deck, so it's a little tough to do. But for devotion, I figured it wasn't so bad,
Yeah. It's certainly still fine. Like you can do worse than 2-mana 2/2 haste.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can also
that
do
pumps
better.
all our satyrs.
Yeah. Get some Mute Vaults going in your modern deck.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, these shapeshifters.
In your Pioneer deck.
God, we maybe should play some Pioneer pretty soon. I think we're both kind of brewing here.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We got another match of Standard to go.
And my favorite.
This one's going to be for the marbles, too.
Oh, yeah, we both dominated each other, essentially, in the first 2. So
Corey alluded earlier to his Sultai midrange deck that he will be playing. I will be playing a brew featured in Ari Lax's article from this week on Star City Games. He was high on the card Euphemia. This is the enchantment creature that lets you exile enchantments from your graveyard and generate 2/2s. So it's already just a reasonable body. It's a 2-mana 2/1 flyer, but then if you build around it, it can be a 2-drop that generates a lot of value, which is really nice. And he has put it in this Doom Foretold Shell Orzhov midrange kind of. So we're going to get pretty grindy in this matchup. We're expecting. So we're going to get to our break. What do we need? 7 minutes?
Let's do a 5. Huh?
5.
Yeah, perfect. We're going to do a 5-minute break. So
we want to hang with you more.
Plenty of time for that match. We're going to take that now, set up our 3rd match, and finish out our exploration of Theros Beyond Death Standard here on Versus Live. Don't go anywhere.